Oh, hello. My name is Mara, and welcome to Books Like Whoa. So, it's time for another unhaul. If you are a regular watcher of Books Like Whoa, you know that I do this pretty frequently. I'm pretty good about, girl, don't get me wrong, I am a book hoarder, but I'm also very pragmatic in terms of what I want in physical form versus what I'm okay with having in another form. And so it doesn't bother me, like if I don't like something, I don't mind getting rid of it. And then if I realize oh, I'd rather have that as an ebook, or if I want to read that again, I can always just check it out from the library, whatever. I don't necessarily super struggle with letting go of books, so this is something I do every couple of months for you guys. So we'll call this my spring clean unhaul, and I've got some books that I've read that I'm gonna let go of. I've got some books that I converted to a different form, and then I've also got some random reference books I found in my move that I'm gonna get rid of. So with that being said, let's get into it. Let's start with a couple of books I either converted format on or decided I want to get them from the library. So the first is The Likeness by Tana French. I got this as an ebook when it was on sale for I think $1.99. So this was a used paperback copy. Don't have any special attachment to it, so decided to go ahead and get rid of it. And then I have three that I've decided if and when I want to read them, my library that I have access to now does have these, so I can just read them that way. The first is How to Flirt with a Naked Werewolf by Molly Harper. This is also mass market, and I generally don't really like to hold on to mass markets. I kind of read them and take them back to the used bookstore. I've had this one for a while now and still haven't gotten to it, so I just want to go ahead and take it back to the used bookstore when I'm ready to read it. I'll get it from the library. And then Hush by Karin Robards and A Faint Cold Fear by Karen Slaughter. This probably more fairly could be characterized as I think I've realized I'm not going to read this because now that I've tried Karen Slaughter and kind of know what type of author she is, I don't think this premise sounds like one that would work for me with the kind of writer she is. And then this, now that I've tried some Karen Robards, I think that she'll always probably be kind of a library author for me. So I'm just going to go ahead and say goodbye to those. So these are all sort of converted books. Okay, and then three that I do still want to read, but I've noticed that they are all available as audio from Scribd, and yeah, these are all three books that I think I would probably prefer to consume as audio. I often like that for nonfiction, so I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. The first is How God Changes Your Brain by Andrew Newberg, and this is basically, so Andrew Newberg I think is a scientist who's done a lot of research in how religious belief impacts our neurology and psychology and stuff. So I find that to be an interesting topic. So a few of his books are on Scribd as audio, so that's where I'll get that. Then The Science of the Magical by Matt Kaplan is From the Holy Grail to Love Potions to Superpowers. So I think this is essentially getting into the history of how things that we would now call science have been perceived as magical in the past. Again, I'm interested in kind of the intersection between science and religion, as you saw from the earlier book. That's just something that interests me. And then finally, Weird in a World That's Not, A Career Guide for Misfits, Fuck-Ups, and Failures by Jennifer Romolini. I think this is sort of a personal memoir about being a modern young woman in the workplace and how to handle yourself. And yeah, that applies to me as a young professional. And I think, again, I probably would prefer to consume this as audio, so I will look forward to doing that at some point. And then a hodgepodge of reference things I found when I was moving and just was I don't need to hold on to this anymore. First is an Archaeological study Bible. I got this back before I went to grad school and before I studied religion and this type of thing in depth. And I have a lot of Bibles from the past, and I'm really trying to just use the ones that I'm needing. So goodbye. And speaking of Bibles, one of the ones that I kept was my Greek study Bible, so I could read in the original as needed, but I don't really need this pocket dictionary of New Testament Greek anymore. And then another God-related one was this random devotional I found. I've never read this, though I know it's quite popular. So I just felt why am I holding on to something I'm not going to read when other people probably would enjoy it at these bookstore. And then 6 Centuries of Great Poetry, edited by Robert Penn Warren and Albert Erskine. You can find pretty much all poetry that's in the public domain online now. You can find it all. So I don't really feel I have a need for this anymore. For the types of poems that are included in this, they are available online or in other collections that I have. So I'm gonna go ahead and say goodbye to that. And then I also just found a random traveler's guide to Turkey from when I went there. I absolutely love Turkey, by the way. If you ever get a chance to go, you should. Wonderful people, delicious food, gorgeous. Okay, and then we get to books that I've read and I'm just ready to let go of. So first I have An Elderly Lady is Up to No Good by Helen Tursten. This is a collection of short stories about a serial killer old lady. And these were charming, but not necessarily that memorable, and this isn't something I foresee myself rereading, so I'm gonna go ahead and pass it along. But if you encounter it out in the wild, I think it's a very charming short little collection, so I would recommend. Then I also found a Maverick for Christmas. This was a category romance that I must have read at some point and have no memory of and have no plans to reread, so I'm gonna give this away. Then I have two Karen Rose. So first, I Can See You by Karen Rose, which I quite enjoyed this one. I thought it was very like propulsive and suspenseful, and it had a good blend of sort of like dark and not too intense, which is kind of what I'm looking for in this type of suspense book. So this was good. This, however, I tried to read, Kill for Me, and it was just too dark, too quick. Like, I honestly had to DNF it because it was just too much for me. It was a lot. So this one I really like. This one I just couldn't deal with. So that's why, I mean, I don't feel the need to hold on to this one. It was good, but not something I'm gonna like hold on to or stick with me really. So I'm gonna take these. And then finally, I'm taking Truly Devious and The Vanishing Stair by Maureen Johnson. This is because I feel a little bad doing this, but here's my rationale on this. I am gonna finish this trilogy. There's one more that will come out. I will finish it and I'm sure I will enjoy it. I don't ever foresee myself rereading this. And if I do, I already have this as an ebook. So I think I'll get the third one also as an ebook. Look if this one will go on sale, and it just will be an ebook kind of collection for me. This is like a really hot series. So getting back to the principle of I want them to have a good life somewhere, I would like to put these back out into circulation for people who are looking to read them, rather than holding on to what I think will end up being a 3 or a 3.5 star series for me, but one that is being sought after right now. So yeah, you know, move it on in the world. I've had my time with them and don't need to hold on to them. Okay, so that was my little spring unhaul. I know that wasn't as like hardcore as some of my unhauls have been in the past, but just sort of my maintenance culling of my collection that I do on a routine basis, and thought I would just show you what I was ditching. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have been inspired by Marie Kondo and have been getting rid of books. I feel like apparently there's been a huge upsurge in like people taking clothes and like donating things in general. So, you know, if you've been inspired to do that with books, definitely let me know. But yeah, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, subscribe, follow me on the social medias if you are so inclined. I have all that information listed in the description box below. And I think that will do it. Hope you're having a great day, and I will just talk to you soon. Bye!